you mentioned the Rucker Park. And I remember, honestly, I wasn't born, in the 60s and 70s when it was really getting popular, when Dr. J and a lot of these guys would go back and play in Rucker Park. I started to really get a grasp on it when I was in college, when we would see, whether it's the N1 mixtape tours and all of that, and Kobe and a lot of these guys would go back there and play in these games. With you being in New York during that time at the Rucker, I remember names like Earl Manigault. I remember those names like that of the guys who had talent, but they didn't reach their promise. Can you speak to any guys in particular that you felt potentially could have made it, whether it was college or the league, or somewhere that high level, but the streets, I guess you could say, kind of got a hold of them and they really didn't fulfill
them? Well, I mean, the guy that stands out is, you said Manigault, but Joe Hammond had the talent to play in the NBA. He certainly did. He was about 6'4", 6'3", could really, really shoot well, could do basically anything really well. But, he got into drugs, and as did Earl Manigault. Earl was more hype than reality. We became very good friends. I wrote a tribute to him when he died. We used to hang out together when he was alive. I played against him, guarded him. By then he had lost a lot of his ability to the drugs, but helped him get a tryout with the Utah team in the ABA. But he wasn't really as good as Hammond. And Pee Wee Kirkland was another guy who was really good. He played with Bobby Dandridge at, I believe, Virginia Union. And but he went away, did hard time for drugs, selling drugs. So those guys were certainly had the talent. My team played that team with Hammond and Pee Wee. My team was the West Siders, and I had Julius and Charlie Scott. Charlie Scott was on that Zoom call today also. We were loaded. We had a lot of pros, and the local guys who basically, many of them did not play college at all. They took us into overtime before we beat them. And so that might have been the best game ever, they said, in Rucker history. And so we were there. Julius and I started together in 71 or 2. Can't remember, but stayed 4 summers. I came in the early 80s team, and we had Louis Orr was on it, Pat Cummings, and the best guy ever is Sam Worthen. I don't know if you ever heard of him, but tremendous player. Played at Marquette, played a little NBA. And we won 2 more titles. And so I had six years up at Rucker. And again, great. I tell everybody, I never could have become what I became without being up at Rucker. It gave me credibility. It gave me sources. It gave me insight. It just gave me panache to this day that people remember. I was up there. I gave up my weekends and loved every minute up there. I never had not one remote problem up there ever. And so never could have done it what I ended up doing without the Rucker. Tiny Archibald was up there all the time. He and I became really, really good friends. And just to see those guys play, it was like, whoa, you're right on the court seeing what they can do. Julius, people who didn't see Julius in the Rucker, I feel bad for them because they only saw glimpses of what he did. Or with the Nets, those 2 championships, he did it there too. But the Rucker, he was just, He was only... he could do anything he wanted to anybody who tried to stop him.
Right.
Yeah.